All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another fantastic episode of Behind Them Sticks with your boy, Ham Solo 05 Gaming. Today, we have a brother that's been on the YouTube channel for a few years now. He was an Army veteran that I recently found out worked in IT for quite some time while he was in the Army. And he came out of the Army and continued to drive through that passion that he had for IT. As of right now, I see that he plays quite a bit of PlayStation. I feel like he's been in Warframe quite some time. We talked about it a little bit in the green room. He struck a little pot of gold on one of them videos. But he also does stories on his channel. And he does plenty of other things, walkthrough videos, how-tos. He's a master of many. Really cool guy. And I'm happy to bring him to you guys today. Let's welcome Danger's Voice. How you doing this evening, Danger?
Doing good. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me so much. I am blessed and honored. Thank you.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure, my man. This is the first time that we're ever actually talking, which makes this even more exciting and fun because we don't know what to expect from either one of each other. So this is going to be interesting. But the first thing I'm going to have you do, I know I just got done talking about your YouTube and whatnot, but I'm sure you have some other stuff going on. Like, what other gaming and social media platforms do you play on, or are you live on where people can contact you so they can see what you're up to or get in contact with you for whatever reason?
So I am active on pretty much almost every social media platform, except for Snapchat. So I have a Facebook page, Danger's Voice 121. I have Instagram, Danger's Voice, YouTube, Danger's Voice, Twitter, Danger's Voice. So I'm Danger's Voice on everything. Find me on Steam, find me on PSN, it's all Danger's Voice or Danger's Voice 121. You can find me on anything. TikTok, Danger's Voice. I'm across the board. I'm Danger's Voice. Danger's Voice
if you type in Danger's Voice, it's most likely you.
Yeah. Like even if you Google me, even if you type me into Google, you're gonna get me.
That's what's up. That makes it easy to find, and it's nice that you have one name instead of 8 different names all over the place.
Yeah. I tried to get them. Makes it easier to find me.
Right. So I just am a little curious. What you got going on right now? What you playing?
Playing not a lot right now. I've been playing, getting back into one of my favorite games, Overwatch. I play a lot of Paladins, and trying to actually clean up something on my backlog, Final Fantasy VII Remake, which came out almost 2 years ago now.
Yeah, it's a hot minute.
But I never got a chance to get in there and beat the game, so I'm trying to finish that now. So those are the games that I'm mainly playing right now: Overwatch, Paladins, and trying to finish Final Fantasy VII Remake. Overwatch, we're waiting on Overwatch 2. I'm not sure when that's coming. I know that the Overwatch League, what they're gonna do is they're gonna give them a pre-build or like an early build of the game for the Overwatch League this summer. So kind of just waiting on that.
I feel you. Are you worried at all now with this whole acquisition and everything like that maybe you might have to play it on an Xbox platform, or do you think it's going to be all over the place on all platforms?
I think they're going to keep it I think they're going to keep it multi-platform because business-wise that makes sense. They're just going to charge more for the licensing. So if anybody on a non-Xbox platform wants it, they got to pay Xbox a licensing fee. That's kind of the way it works. So it wouldn't be smart for Microsoft to be like, yeah, it's only going to be over here because they'll make less money that way.
Yeah, it'd be a shock to the system for sure, and it hit their pockets right away. So, yeah. So I feel you on that part. And anyways, I wanted to say what's up to Matt Likes Game in the chat. What's up, brother? Thanks.
What up?
He said, new episode, let's go. But anyways, so that's what you're kind of playing right now. Kind of curious, is there any games that look interesting to you that have came out recently? Because it sounds like you're catching up on some stuff, but is there anything that kind of caught your eye that you're like, man, I kind of want to get that, but I don't know?
I haven't gotten the chance to get into Elden Ring. Elden Ring looks interesting, and that's not even my type of game. Ghostwire Tokyo looks real good. I'm just not sure like when I'm going to actually be able to get into these games, because I'm just trying to catch up on the games I haven't been able to play. But those games really, those two games right there off the bat, like I feel like, okay, I want to play those games. I was excited for Babylon's Fall that just came out. It was a disappointment though. Yeah, that game.
That was a big disappointment for a lot of
people. especially since I hold Platinum Games in high regard. Like Platinum Games has made a lot of games that I really enjoyed. Like I enjoyed Wonderful 101. I enjoyed both Bayonettas. I enjoyed Vanquish. They've made
Nier.
Nier. Both in at least the two most recent Niers anyway, Nier Automata and Nier Replicant, which is a remake of the first one. But those games too, I was like, and then for them to completely fall flat on their face with this, I was totally shocked. I thought Babylon's Fall was going to be like a really good game, and I was disappointed. So
I think them boys over at Xbox is looking at a Scalebound like hell no now. like we were thinking about it for a moment, but you just dropped Babylon's Fall like that. Nah.
Yeah, so the rumors about that was they were going to sit down and talk about it, and I'm not sure if they even going to do that now. But that's the only thing that Phil Spencer or anybody at Xbox or Platinum said is like, hey, we're going to schedule some time to talk about it. And after Babylon flopped like that, I don't know. I guess I'm telling you what. Here's my prediction. I think that Microsoft was probably Microsoft's going to wait and see how Bayonetta 3 does. Because that comes out. That's supposed to be coming out this year. So they're going to probably wait and see, okay, let's see how Bayonetta 3 is.
Yeah, let's see what a good game that like is supposed to do good seems like, because I mean every company that's big makes bad games every once in a while. So I see what you're saying. Yeah, if they can make a banger out of Bayonetta and come back strong after that piss poor performance with Babylon's Fall, then maybe, yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, maybe they could be in negotiation again. But that's rough.
Yeah, it's bad, man. I was very upset. Like I only played the demo, so I was like, I'm gonna play the demo, get a feel of it, and then I was already in my mind. I was like, I'm already by the game. Then I played that demo, and I was like, I'm not buying this. No.
Oh, so you played it for a little bit already before the game actually even dropped. So you already knew what the deal was.
Yeah, so like I didn't buy the full game because the demo was really bad. And then I was like, let me wait for reviews, and then the reviews confirmed what I already knew, and I was like, yeah, I'm done.
So yeah, it's trash, bro.
Save my little coins, man.
Yeah, sure, why not, right? But anyways, so I want to go kind of into the history section of the show now. Pretty fun. We were talking a little bit in the green room, and you said that your first console that you had of your own was a Super Nintendo. Tell me a little bit about that. Like, what was it like back then? What games did you have and whatnot?
So, Super Nintendo was the first game console that was considered mine because I've played, I played the NES and something called the Vectrex, but those belong to my older brother. My older brother is much older than myself. He's about 12 years older than me.
Ooh,
so he had those.
As my brother from me. My brother's 13 years older, so I feel you. I get it.
So he had that. So, but the one that belonged to me was a Super Nintendo, and of course, that's back when consoles came with games. So, Super Mario World, right off the rip, that
what a
I
banger
had. So,
to have come with a console.
What
a banger.
Yeah, because it it's arguably one of the best games of all time, Super Mario World for Super Nintendo. So, the games I really do remember playing for the Super Nintendo was, Super Mario World, Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Donkey Kong Country, Zombies Ate My Neighbors. I had a game called Smash TV, which was like a old school shoot 'em up, which was a real fun game.
Okay.
The original Mario Kart. Like, it was so many funny games I played on there. I remember playing the heck out of Street Fighter all the time. On Super Mario World, I beat everything, even Star World. Because Star World you'll beat the game, but Star World will take you forever to get through. So,
and did let them know? Was there any saves or anything? Was there any way to stop the game and come back to it? Was there any way to do that?
Nah, the game only saved progress after you beat the level. So, like, if you was midway through the level, nah, you gotta go all the way back to the beginning, bro. No. I remember Super Mario World. It'll take you all the way back. If you beat the level, it'll okay. You beat it. It'll save that. But if you didn't beat it, nope. You gotta do the whole level over, no matter where you were.
You got super lucky if you had a battery in one of those cartridges to be able to save games and stuff like that. Super lucky. But also now tell me, so you said your brother had that Vectrex. Did you ever get on it?
Yes, but I don't even remember. Like, all I remember is like playing Asteroids on it. All I remember is playing Asteroids. Had to be like 4 or 5, man. Like, I was really young, and I didn't even know what I was playing. Like, I didn't know what exactly I was playing. I would get on there. There was a little spaceship, and it would move, and I would shoot stuff. I later learned that it was Asteroids, but I didn't know what I was playing.
I had no idea.
I had no idea what I was playing. I just knew, like, it was. They just had it in the living room next to the big TV, and I would just turn it on, and I would be just moving the controller, and I realized I can move the little ship that was on it.
That Vectrex is big too. It's like a TV console, like pushed into one kind of thing. It's something else.
Yeah, which is why I sat in our living room, because it was so big. It couldn't sit in the bedroom that me and my brother shared. Like, we had a TV in there, but it was small, and then he had his NES hooked up to it. I remember.
Was it a knob TV? A little click, click, click?
Yeah.
Yep.
The little knob joints.
Yep, and you had to have the little forks that go in the back and screw them in.
Oh no, man! So, like, our joint was messed up, so the knob wasn't even there. So we had the little pair of pliers.
Oh, there it is. Yep, I already know.
We had to turn it, and I didn't even know. Like, I just thought that's the way the TV was. Come to find out, like, no, there's supposed to be knobs on this thing. Like,
yeah, it's not
supposed to be knobs on that joint. You're not supposed to be doing it with power. I just thought that's the way you did the TV. And then, like, I thought the TV in the living room, which was like a newer TV, I just thought the TV in the living room, well, it's new, so it has knobs. I guess but I thought all TVs wasn't supposed to have knobs, because I think that TV, because that TV and the rest of the TVs in the house, you had to do that. But the one in the living room, you didn't have to do that. So I was like, well, I guess the newer TVs come with knobs and the old ones don't. And come to find out, no, that's not. They're all supposed to have knobs.
Yeah, y'all were just running those TVs ragged. That's what happened. Y'all done broke the knob on it trying to find channel 3.
No. My father always talks about how broke they were back in those days. So I think they just had TVs and they just didn't get new ones until it went out.
I feel you. All right, well, let's move forward a little bit into time. Now let's go like while you're in like middle school or something like that. What type of games and stuff were you playing around that time period?
Middle school, so you're talking about PlayStation 1.
Let's go.
So we're talking about Final Fantasy 7, probably the greatest game of all time. Metal Gear. I played a lot of sports games back then. So Madden, Game Day,
Game Breaker.
NBA Game Breaker I never played.
Oh, okay.
I played Game Day, Madden, and NBA Live.
Yep.
Then
Live
of course
was
like NBA Jam and all that stuff too. But it was NBA Live definitely. Yeah. So we talking about PS1. So like I played a lot of RPGs back then too. I played a lot of sports games, a lot of RPGs. So like there was like Brave Fencer Musashi. That's a game people don't That's a game that would if they would have continued that series in that fashion, it probably would have rivaled Zelda.
Oh wow.
Ray Fez and Musashi was a really good game. There was Xenogears. That was like the golden age of like RPGs. So Final Fantasy 7, 8, and 9. They had Xenogears. There was a series called Wild Arms at the time. That's when Grandia started. That's when Sudoku started. There was a lot of RPGs around that time. They called it the golden age of RPGs because like a lot of RPG series really started or really got their footing on the PlayStation 1. Star Ocean, which is still going, as we know.
Yeah,
that's another one that
you're right.
That kind of really got its footing on the PlayStation 1, even though it was on Super Nintendo, the first one. But when they made that second one, that's when it started. Like that's when that series started going on. So that was like the golden age of like RPGs and stuff. But back then, I played a lot of sports games, a lot of wrestling games. I was a big wrestling fan.
There we go.
So
did you ever have like an N64 or anything like that?
Yes, yes. So I ended up getting the N64 sort of toward the end of the life cycle, but I had one, and so definitely those wrestling games, those WCW, NWO Revenge,
NWO, yep, let's go.
NWO Revenge,
2000.
WrestleMania 2000. Yo, them wrestling games was the truth back then. Like what? Some of my fondest memories is playing with my cousins. All of us like Royal Rumble, Battle Royale, just playing through the game and playing like stuff like GoldenEye. That was Mario 64 where we played a lot of Street Fighter, Perfect Dark. We played a lot of Street Fighter, I remember. Like we was playing everything. Like those are some of some good memories I had playing those games. I remember me and my cousins, we played a lot of NFL Blitz on the 64.
Okay. NFL Blitz was the joint though.
Yeah, like that. Like I remember us playing that a lot. That was a fun game.
Yeah, that was an arguing game, like a game that you could argue and just talk stuff. And I mean, after the plays, you're power bombing people and everything like that. Like that game was lit. The NFL obviously didn't like it after several years of letting it go on. And then what's his name? What was it? It's not Lawrence Taylor. It was was it Lawrence Taylor? That was in the league of NFL Blitz.
Which is a game I never played and I always wanted to play.
Too bad, man. I mean, if you got some of them old school consoles, I highly recommend playing some NFL Blitz the league. That game's just fun. It's a mixture of arcade with like a little bit of sim as well. You get to juice your players and everything, get them all ready for the game. Yeah, it is totally inappropriate, but it was fun, especially when you sack somebody real hard and it breaks a bone or something like that, and then they go inside the body and show where the bone breaks, like it's Mortal Kombat.
Oh yes. I remember.
Crazy.
I've seen people play, but I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get this game. Then I never ended up getting it for some reason. That game looked like a lot of fun.
I appreciate it. Yeah, definitely. If you guys are watching, make sure you hit that like button. If you enjoy what you're seeing, make sure to hit that subscribe button as well. Support your boy. I'd mostly appreciate it. But continuing on within your story, all right, now we're done with middle school. We're going into high school and maybe, early military or something like that. Was there anything that you were playing before you hopped in the military? Is that PlayStation 2 yet?
Yeah, so we're going into PlayStation 2. I was just thinking about this other day, like, yo, what did I really have on PlayStation 2? And I really couldn't remember. Like what I had on PlayStation 2.
You can't remember what you had on the PlayStation 2. That was like the console of all consoles,
I had a PlayStation 2 and I'm sitting here like, yo, what did I really
think I was playing? Grand Theft Auto 3?
Yes. Woo! Thank you. You're jogging my memory now. I had Grand Theft Auto 3. That was to this day, the only Grand Theft Auto I've ever beat. I didn't beat Vice City. I didn't beat San Andreas. I have, I have 4 and 5, and I never beat either one of them. Like I only got 5 when it became a free game on the Epic Game Store. So I have 5 because of that. I have 4 because I have 4 on PlayStation 3. But yeah, so I played that. I played, and I was still playing a lot of sports games. So I was still playing NBA Live and Madden. And this in high school, I was a 3-sport athlete in high school. So, but football was my main sport. So I played a
football,
lot
basketball,
of Madden.
or something like that. Track or something.
Shit, track. But I played baseball too.
Oh wow, you're doing two sports in the same season.
Yeah, I think because I only did in the spring. I only did the shot put in one of the relays. So I had 2 events, and then I'm just sitting around for hours. So so track, it didn't really interfere with baseball, and then I dropped baseball after my sophomore year of high school. So yeah, I was playing a lot of sports games back then. I think I played. I can't forget. I can't remember. I played.
He's out there playing Nagano Winter Olympics.
No, I played. I was trying to think what RPG I played. It wasn't Final Fantasy. I think at that time I was still trying to. No, I didn't play 10. I've never played 10 actually. Final Fantasy 10. I played 12. I was playing 12. I played Final Fantasy 12. That was a game that I don't know why I skipped 10, even because 10 is considered better than 12. But I skipped 10. I played 12 because 11 was this online weird thing that they did at the time. I played 12, and I played a lot of 12 at the time. This is PS2. Kingdom Hearts, I played Kingdom Hearts 2. I didn't even play the first one. I played Kingdom Hearts 2 after seeing one of my buddies play it a lot. But yeah, I played mostly sports games on PS2 now that I think about it. That's when I was heavy into sports. So a lot of NBA Live, a lot of Madden. I did sprinkle an RPG in there too.
Did you skip completely out on the Xbox that generation?
I never really owned an Xbox. So I never had an Xbox really.
Okay.
I had an Xbox 360 for about a month or 2, and it died.
Oh no. So that was a bad introduction for you.
I got the Red Ring of Death, and it never came back. And the only game I even played on it was the first Mass Effect. I was playing the first Mass Effect because I saw a buddy playing it and it looked dope. So I started playing it, and then my Xbox died. And I got my Xbox secondhand, so I couldn't even, I bought it off of somebody, so I couldn't even send it back to Microsoft.
So it just is what it is.
Fix this joint, because they want a proof of purchase. So I was like, well, I bought it off this guy that didn't want it no more. So.
I'm guessing because the thing about the Red Ring is the Red Ring would you'd be playing the game for 10-15 minutes, and then it'd just pop up out of nowhere. So there's a possibility that he had the Red Ring before he gave it to you. There is that possibility.
And I couldn't even get him back, because what happened was, I was in the Army, and he was a soldier. So when I was in the Army, they sent me to Germany. So I was stationed in Germany. This guy was leaving Germany, going back to the States, and he didn't want his Xbox no more. So I said, hey. So he was like, hey, you want to buy this Xbox? And sold to me dirt cheap too. Yeah, I bought it off of him. Then he left and went back to the United States. So I couldn't even bring the Xbox back and be like, hey, you sold me a lemon, because he was gone.
Damn.
So,
that's dirty. That's so dirty.
So
all right, so
he got away with my money. He probably knew it was a lemon he got.
That's what I'm saying, man. Because I had a Red Ring of Death, and luckily, GameStop was taking Xboxes to trade in to go to the Xbox One, and I got it half off because of that. But my shit had the Red Ring of Death, and I was able to tell them that because they didn't care. But I couldn't imagine just getting it and being excited to play something and then not even getting through the first game.
Oh man.
Yeah, I mean that would probably make me not want to buy the next system or whatnot.
So I never bought an Xbox.
I feel that. I understand.
So it's funny too, because I remember I had people that worked for GameStop, and they would tell me a lot of times you could bring in a broken system or broken machine, because I think at the time GameStop had like the whole business where like you trade anything that you trade in, they have to send to like, I guess GameStop has a factory where they expect everything. They have to send it there, and then they send it back saying, hey, it was inspected and this is good. So anything that you trade in, they don't keep it in store. They got to send it somewhere, get it inspected, and then they send it back to the store.
Right.
So they were like, yo, a lot of times you could bring in something broken because they're going to send it to the factory. If something's broke on it and it's like something that is probably a simple fix, they'll just fix it, send it back, and then we'll resell it. Right. So like if your stuff has like, so he told me like normally they tell him if it's broken, don't take it, but he knew that if it's a simple fix, they're gonna fix it anyway. So he was just like, yo, a lot of times I was taking in broken stuff because I knew they were gonna fix it anyway when we got it back. So he said almost every time somebody brought him something broken, he would send it off, they'd get it back brand new and pretty much in a really good condition. So he was like, yo, just start bringing your, like if somebody brings in your stuff, just start, your stuff breaks, just send it, go to GameStop, get something for it.
Yep, and that's exactly what I did. I got a new console for it. That's when GameStop was dope. Like I really like GameStop. GameStop's okay now, but it's usually kind of like my third or fourth choice when I go to buy a video game.
It's funny because like I think about GameStop, and I think most of us that are smart will think like GameStop is probably gonna die, but then I'm like, what's gonna replace it?
Right.
Like a lot of things or a lot of stores or a lot of things or businesses that went out of business, like because pandemic, technology, whatever that happened, we could think of something that, well, we can go here and get that. I'm kind of like, there really isn't anything to replace GameStop. Like you can go to Amazon, you can go to Best Buy and get like a game retailer. There's really isn't anything to replace that, which is why I think it's gonna take. GameStop's probably gonna die, but it's gonna be a slow death. Like it might not die for another 10, 20 years.
Well, you seen what happened when the pandemic started. Them stocks went up. Stocks went up for GameStop and whatnot. So, I mean, when things get harder, I guess GameStop's that liquor store for people that don't drink. Going out of business.
I don't know, like, if you remember how, the government was telling GameStop that they had to close because of the pandemic. So, like, because they're like, yo, you're not essential. You're not a because mostly anything that had a storefront had to close. So if you were a clothing store or something like that, you had to close. But like restaurants and places that sold supplies to work from home, they could stay open. So GameStop told all the state governments, because it was the states that had the decision to make to close the GameStops. They was telling state governments that, yo, we sell keyboard and mice to work from home, so we can stay open.
Man, they ain't got nothing but a handful of keyboards and mice in there.
Yo, so at one point they was stocking up on it, because I think I went to one time to actually get a keyboard. I actually had to go get a keyboard, and they had them stacked. I was like, yo, they stocked up because they don't want to close.
Would they have like the Logitech ones that you just plug in, like the wireless ones? Like
they had like the basic like Logitech joints, like the basic Logitech joints that you plug in, or they had like the wireless ones where like it's a wireless keyboard and mouse combo. They had that.
Yep, that's actually the one I got.
Oh man.
Yep. So I actually like it because I just plug it into my Xbox or PlayStation whenever I need to actually like type and stuff like that, which isn't very often, but it's nice to have a keyboard on the side anytime.
So the only reason I had to go to GameStop to get it because I'm the No, my day job, I'm an IT system engineer, and I'm responsible for the infrastructure, break fix. I'm responsible for a lot of stuff at my particular job. So one of the things we needed was some folks needed keyboard and mice to work from home, and so we had to stock up on stuff to give them because we didn't have anything to give them. Because at first we were like, oh, we're not going to be gone, we're not going to be home long, but we have to go home because the government told us to go home. So we still had to buy the stuff, and like every place was sold out. On Amazon, it was sold out. We went to Office Max, Staples, whatever, everything was sold out. So we got to go to GameStop. So my job sent me to GameStop to go get mouse and keyboards.
You know, you weren't mad.
No, I wasn't, but it was just like, this is odd. I'm gonna have to go to GameStop to get mouse and keyboards and stuff.
You never would have thought you had to go to GameStop for work, right?
Never.
All right. So moving on from when you were in the military, getting out of the military, what was that like for you?
Getting out of the military was definitely a culture shock because you had to get reacclimated back into stuff. Like, you know, in the military, your basic day is a 12-hour day. Your day starts at 6:30, and you're off when they tell you to be off. So not having to do that anymore and have that structure was a little culture shock. Like, I was still getting up at 4 or 5 in the morning, not 4 or 5, but like I was still getting up at 5 or 6 in the morning just on my own, and I didn't have to be anywhere, and it was a culture shock. But then, like, I went straight from being in the military to I transitioned, and I went to college. And I went to college, and here in New York City, and I played college football here. So I managed.
Where did you play?
Fordham University.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah,
that's what's up.
We were a good team too. We were 13-3. The 1 year I played. Only managed to play for a year because then I had my daughter the next year.
Oof.
So I couldn't handle the it was a lot. Like, being a college athlete is a lot. Like, if you're not in class, you're probably in a meeting or a weightlifting session.
Or gym.
So when I played college football, like, we had team meetings, then we had position meetings, we had weight session, we had weight room session, we had film session, then there's practice, actual practice. And then when you're not doing any of that, you're probably in class, for your degree or whatever you're studying. So, like, it's a full-time job being a college football athlete. Like, you're literally like putting in hours and hours and hours and hours of work, even outside of your core study. So that, and then I'm a new dad. I'm like, when Kid Danger was born, I had to drop being on the team. So that was something else. So
that had to be kind of hard to do.
Yeah, that was hard, especially since even before she wasn't born, I had trained for 2 years to even make the team. Like, I knew, like, when I left the military, like, I made a decision while I was in the military. Okay, this is probably gonna be my last contract. I'm not gonna re-enlist. So then I started training to actually make a football team wherever I went. And sure enough, I trained for 2 years. I show up, I make the team. I was on the team for about a year. And then that year we went 13-3. We were a really good team because new coach came in there, turned the program around, and didn't even really get to enjoy any of that success because, like, after that 1 year, it was like I had to be a dad, had to be available. Then I had to get a job. Because I wasn't working.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine what that's like. I mean, my brother went to Notre Dame, played football there. Mm-hmm. So I understand how busy you could be with school and everything like that. But then to slide a baby up in there, yeah, he didn't have to deal with that. So that's something else. Congratulations for, having your kiddo, making it through it, powering through it, figuring it out, and, you see where you're at now. You seem pretty happy. You seem pretty content with
Yeah,
what's going
good.
on.
Yeah, I'm good, man.
All right, cool. Well, yeah. So after you get done, with college, you got the kiddo and whatnot. Now, what brought you to the point of creating content now?
So that was my cousin, my brother, Original. He's one of my moderators on Twitch. And he's the one that got me into like really streaming and all that stuff, because he watched a lot of Twitch streams and a lot of content and stuff. He was like, "Yo, you need to get into this. You'll be good at this." And I'm like, at first I'm like, the concept of watching somebody play a video game, I'd rather just play it myself.
I was the same way.
But he was like, "Yeah, but how about you play? People watch you." I was like, "Well, shoot, okay." And then, so what do you do? He's like, "Just sit there and talk about whatever." And like, I could talk about anything, but just the fact that I got to play games and talk about something, and then I was like, "Yo, what am I going to talk about?" Man, so I didn't want to do it at first. Then, I think one day I just decided to do it. Like, no, screw it. I'm going to just go on and do it and see how it is. And my first couple of streams, they were on YouTube, because I didn't know how to stream to Twitch. I didn't understand anything. Like, I knew that my PlayStation had a button to put it to YouTube, so I put it to YouTube at first. And I actually enjoyed it. I had like a buddy of mine who subscribed to me on YouTube for some reason, but I don't know, he like subscribed to me on YouTube, and then he saw me live. He was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" I was like, "Wait, how do you know that I'm even on? I didn't tell nobody I'm on." He's like, "Well, I subscribed to you to your YouTube," because he felt like subscribing to me on YouTube was kind of like following, like a friend list. So that's what he thought it was. And then he realized, oh, when you subscribe to people, if they're live or they post a video, you'll get a notification.
It was that early in the game, huh?
Yeah. So, and that was like years ago. And then like, I think 2019 was when I figured out, okay, Twitch, stream on Twitch, how OBS works, how all this stuff works. And I just started streaming on Twitch, and the rest is history. Like, when I first I still do this to this day. When I first got started, but I still do this, is I have like some talking points. Okay, I have some talking points of what to talk about. Like, I'll talk about, hey, how my day was. I ask the stream so two things I always do. I always tell the stream about my day. I ask the stream how their day was, and then I talk about anything crazy or funny that happened to me that day. Then I'll say, okay, whatever the latest gaming news is. And then the conversation always grows from there. But like, I used to have it like I still have it on a list, but now like I've done it so much now that it's like, this is my memory now. It's ingrained. So that's what I always do now. And the conversation just kind of leans or goes naturally in a direction, because some folks will come in and then we'll get to talking and the conversation will be natural. So like, things got a lot easier the more I did it, of course. So since I started enjoying just being live and stuff, I was like, okay, let me start making stuff on YouTube and, of course, Instagram. And then I just recently got into TikTok, and, I just kept going from there and just trying to improve.
How is TikTok? I've been dodging that.
TikTok is one of those things that they've definitely designed it to be addicting, because you can be on that thing for hours, because everything is like 3 seconds. So you be on there swiping, and the next thing you know, like 2 hours went by. So like, a lot of times now with TikTok, what I do is I go, so when I go on TikTok now, I go and respond to whatever comments that I have. I'll post my video, and then I respond to whatever comments that I have, and then I get off of there, because you'll be on there for like a while if you don't do that.
Yeah. Okay.
But TikTok, I kind of like, but TikTok, I try to stay off of for, like, unless I need to go on there. Go in there, check my comments, check my likes. I have a few gaming buddies that I like, that I actually game with, that I know from Twitch or YouTube. I'll like their stuff, and then I'll get off of it, because you'll be on there forever. TikTok is addictive. Like, I was on there one time, just like it felt like 5 minutes. It was like an hour went by. I was like, oh no. So you gotta know, you just gotta know when to get on and get off of it. But TikTok is a very powerful platform. Like you can, if you have a really good video, you can really like pop off and go viral like really quickly, really fast. I think that's why people like it so much. Like it's really easy to actually gain traction on there. If you're consistently posting on there, you can gain traction on there. So I always tell folks like, post your stuff on there. If you got gaming clips, like if you're a video game content creator, the gaming clips, post them on there. Anything that you create, just post it on TikTok too. Like if you're gonna post it on Instagram or Facebook or Snapchat, just post it on TikTok as well, and see how it does.
Okay, I might look into that because there's been a lot of people talking about that lately, and I feel like it's inevitable. Like the way I was looking at YouTube back in the day and Twitch back in the day. Like I don't need this silly thing, and then a couple of years later, I'm gonna find my ass on it all damn day.
Yes.
But so fantastic so far. Love the conversation. I'm kind of curious, what actually like drove you into like why is it important to you to do this content and play these video games? Like what's your attachment to it that has you just, gripped on?
Well, video games have been a part of my life, my whole life. So it's kind of like I've always been in the gaming community, or I've always been playing games my entire life since I was a little boy. I got away from it for a little bit, but like I always like, man, it was always like an itch that I wanted to, like, I want to sit down and play some video games. Like, I always wanted to. So creating content was just kind of like the next level of that, where like, you're playing video games, and then like, okay, now you can create content and gain traction and do things on you, and then just create more stuff and have fun with it. Like, so a lot of things that I'm doing is like I always wanted to do with content creation, or like I would look for somebody that is doing the things that I'm doing, but I didn't really see any of that. I didn't really see any of that. Okay, I want to watch somebody that's doing this, and then I wouldn't see anybody doing that, and I'm like, or somebody would be doing that, but they're not a Black content creator. They're not somebody that look like me. So I'm like, I could fill that void. Because I wanted to create the content that I wanted to watch. So right. I started trying to do that a little bit. And then there was content creators that I actually looked up to that I thought, okay, I want to do some of what they're doing as well. I started mixing all that in. This is why like my content on my YouTube channel was like, I have a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Cause I was just like, I wanted to do it all and see if this is something that I actually enjoy doing, or this is something that, hey, I could just drop this because this is not fun anymore. So
is there anything particular that you like really enjoy out of a specific type of content that you bring to your channel? Like what's your favorite thing that you do for your channel?
I really enjoy telling stories. I don't tell enough of them though. People always tell me like, do you tell these stories on like your Twitch or your YouTube or something? Like, no. Cause I was in the army. I was in the army for 8 years, and I have a lot of army stories and military stories. And it seems like those stories only come out when I game with my one homeboy, random Arizona dude, who was also in the army with me. So
yeah, seems like that's the only time. I seen your guys' stream that you guys had. I think it was like last year though.
Yeah.
But I checked that out. He was going off on PlayStation.
Oh, that was only 2 months ago. That was only 2 months ago.
Yeah. So that wasn't even that long. Yeah, he was going.
Yeah, off. He was somebody that used to. He was the person that worked for GameStop and told me all that stuff. So that was him. So it seems like them stories only come out then. So like I'm trying to go into more, because like a lot of times those stories don't come out unless I'm around him, like, because I don't remember him. Because like I'd be like, yeah, I should tell an army story, and then I'm like, oh man, what army story?
But he be,
and then I get around him, and then like all them stories come out, and I'm like, so it's like I don't remember them off the top, but then it's like when I'm around him, that's when all them stories come out. So like I know I need to tell more of those stories, but like that's I do enjoy telling those army stories. I do enjoy playing like Paladin and Overwatch on my channel too. I get a lot of interaction. I got a lot of people that I know that play the game, that come in and play the game. Sometimes I'll be raging on that game, or so some of my best clips or some of my funniest clips come out of playing those games. So that's the content I really enjoy doing. I really enjoy doing React videos, but sometimes React videos were hit and miss on my channel. Like sometimes they do well, sometimes they don't do well. Like I said, I experimented with all types of content. I experimented with React content. I experimented with clips, telling stories about my dating life. I did that early in my stream. I had a whole thing about growing up a black nerd.
Yeah.
Like I had like I said, I went all over. I told some military stories. I did some walkthrough. I experimented with it all, just trying to see, okay, what do I enjoy doing? What do the people enjoy seeing me do? And I'm still trying to figure that out a little bit. But like I said, I'm doing it all just to see what works and what people enjoy actually watching me do. Because if the people enjoy, they call me. I call myself Dangerous Voice, the People's Choice. I will continue doing that if they want to see more of it. So
absolutely, we'll keep pumping them out, brother.
Yes.
But let's move on to the next part of the show, which I gotta know, throughout all of the consoles that you played, while you were a kiddo, going through the military, and then now, do you have a certain one that's most beloved of them all? Like a desert island kind of console.
It's hard for me to decide between the PlayStation 3 and the Super Nintendo.
Ooh.
And I have a reason for both. So Super Nintendo, of course, that was kind of like that first love. You know what I'm saying? Like, It was my first console that I ever owned. I played all the crazy amount of games on. I spent a lot of time with it as a young kid, and countless games I enjoyed in that thing. Countless games from, like I said, from Super Mario World, all the Donkey Kong countries, Super Contra, Street Fighter, Super Double Dragon, Zombies Ate My Neighbors, like just the list goes on. Like I played so much of that system. The other one being the PS3. Like it would be hard for me to decide between both. I think I would ultimately go with the PS3 though. The PS3 I played. The reason why I say PS3 because I kind of been on a desert island situation with the PS3. Here's why.
Like I literally was already in that situation.
Here's why. So I took my PlayStation 3 to Iraq. To Iraq when I was in Iraq. So when I was in Iraq, I had a PS3. That's when it first came out, like 2008, 2009. That's when I was in Iraq. That's when it first came out. So I played a lot of PS3 games in Iraq because when I had off time or downtime, there wasn't a lot to do. So one of the things after you would go to the gym and lift weights or run or whatever, there wasn't much to do if you weren't working. So because like I was on like shifts and they had us like on shifts, like 12-hour shifts. So when you were off, there wasn't much to do. So one of the things that I would do was play video games. So I played, of course, I was still playing a lot of sports games. That's when I actually beat Final Fantasy 9 and 12. I think I played Resistance Fallen Man. I played Killzone. I played like a bunch of games on the PS3. And also the PS3 was like a really good media center. So like I had this hard drive that I would plug, that I had all my movies on.
Yes, I already know where you're going. Yup.
That I used to plug into my laptop. But then I realized that I could plug that same thing into my PlayStation and then play the movies off my hard drive on my PlayStation. So I was like, oh, so it ended up being like a media center for me where I had movies, where I had videos, TV shows, and pictures all on my PlayStation off the hard drive. So because, and then the PlayStation had all these games, the PlayStation 3 had all these really good games and all that stuff. So I took it to Iraq and Afghanistan. So I was in a situation with both. I was in a situation twice, like similar to a desert island. Not exactly a desert island, but like a desert island situation where like, yo, I was in Iraq, I was in Afghanistan, I was in this one spot and I couldn't go anywhere. And I had a PS3.
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with that, right? Making it work.
Yes.
And it's the media device. So that's what's up. Because I remember I used to use my 360 for that same thing. You have all that music, videos. I had TV shows for days and movies for days.
Yes.
Yeah, it is the life with that little thing. It was nice.
That's also when like a 1 terabit hard drive. That's when they first came out, like 2008. Because I think I went to Afghanistan in 2010, but 2008. That's when like first 1 terabit drives were first coming out, and they were like $300 for one, and I had one.
All right, well now we're gonna test a little bit of your gaming knowledge on some stuff. Pretty simple things, because all I'm gonna do is just bring up the name of the console, and you're gonna tell me the first game that comes to your mind when you hear the name of that console. All right, So I'll do my best to give you ones that you know, but I might throw out one that you might not know. You just let me know if you either never played it or never heard of it or something. All right. So the first one I'm going to start out with is the N64. What's the first game that comes to your mind?
GoldenEye.
All right. Sega Dreamcast.
Sonic Adventure.
Ooh.
And Sega GT Racing. I played a lot of that. It was the one racing game I played a lot of.
Oh my God. Somebody finally brought it up. Somebody finally brought up my joint. I love me some Sega GT. I don't
know what it was, because that was a game that I was like, I don't know, like I really couldn't explain why I enjoyed it, but I did, like, because it didn't have anything that like Gran Turismo didn't have or Forza didn't have, but that game I just enjoyed it. I think because like they had like an RPG like system in that game that was super simple. Like you could pick it up and play it, and okay, this is how this works, and then just keep racing. And the racing in the game was fun.
Mm-hmm. It was in a perfect spot for driving games too, because it was right between, I believe, Gran Turismo 3. I mean, it was right between Gran Turismo 2 and Gran Turismo A-Spec 3. And everybody knows back in the day for the OG PlayStation, Gran Turismo 1, 2, and 3 were banging.
Yes.
Back in that time. I was a stan for Gran Turismo 2. Loved it. Got the Suzuki Pikes Peak. I was nasty in that car. That car had that was one of those cars that had over 1,000 horsepower in it. It was super duper rare for a Gran Turismo car. Yes. So I was blazing around everything, and I used to literally ride the edges. I wouldn't even turn. I would just let the car hit the bumper and just ride the edge around because it was so fast. It was so fast. Even if somebody caught up to me, I just went right by it, right after the turn. so it was a little cheap, but it was a lot of fun. And I did some endurance races and stuff. Those endurance races don't mess around.
No.
But back to Sega GT, yeah, that game was a real nice, smooth transition from Gran Turismo to a new type of game, especially it being on a totally different system.
Yes.
Absolutely. So next console I'm going to have to bring out of the woodwork is going to be the original PlayStation.
Final Fantasy VII.
All right. And I'm curious, did you ever play Sega Saturn?
No, I never played a Sega Saturn. Not that I never played it. I never owned one. So
how about Sega CD or 32X? Did you ever play any of those?
Sega CD, only thing I played was Sonic CD, which was actually a really good game. Yep. 32X, no. I didn't have a Sega Saturn or knew anybody with Sega Saturn. I had a cousin that had a Sega CD, but all he had was Sonic CD. 32X, I didn't know anybody that had a 32X, and I didn't have one. I had a Sega Genesis at one point. But I had a Sega Genesis like when PlayStation was out. Like I got a Sega Genesis
it was late
at the end, because to this day, Streets of Rage 2 is probably one of my favorite games of all time.
Yes, sir.
One of my favorite.
Rage.
Streets of Rage. Streets of Rage.
Turkey.
Anytime somebody always, and I always feel like it gets left out, and it makes me mad sometimes, because when they talk about what games has the best video game soundtrack of all time, and I always put out Streets of Rage. Always. I wouldn't put it above Final Fantasy in any regard, but I would say it's probably number 2.
Oh, I don't know, man. Sonic had that joint though. Every time you turn on a Sonic, Sonic would be 3 on my list. It would be Final Fantasy series, Streets of Rage series, Sonic. Because Sonic got you in the mood. Like when you were playing that game, you're like, oh man, this music is hitting. And little did I even know that some of that music was real music, just turned into video game.
Yes, there was a guy on TikTok that he has a whole series on TikTok. His whole channel is literally him telling you, okay, all this video game music is actually like remix music, or he shows you modern music that borrowed from the video game.
That's crazy.
So like that's his whole TikTok. That's like his whole niche on TikTok, and it's real dope. And my reasoning for like why I always say it's Final Fantasy and then Streets of Rage for 1 and 2 on my list, and Sonic will be 3. Number 1, Final Fantasy. People go to literal concerts to hear that music.
Nuh-uh.
People go to literal, yes, yeah. People go to concerts. They'll sit in an orchestra thing.
I ain't never heard that shit before. People going to concerts to listen to video game music? You gotta be out of your goddamn mind.
Yes, they'll have like a real live orchestra band playing the Final Fantasy music. There's even some cases where like they'll have somebody playing the video game, and then the folks in the orchestra are playing the music while he's playing through the video game. So like you're playing Kingdom Hearts. Yeah. So when he gets his ass whooped, they'll play that as the music, that game over music. They'll play that. Like so, there was literally a band. They literally had that with a Kingdom Hearts game where like somebody was playing Kingdom Hearts, and they had the orchestra playing the music while he's playing Kingdom Hearts, and it was in like a concert hall. People was watching that. So for Final Fantasy, I've seen that too, where people would just come and listen to the Final Fantasy music, have a live orchestra play that. So there's that, and then so that's why I was like, okay, Streets of Rage 8 did that, but there was a party over in Europe. I think it was France, and the composers of the Streets of Rage game came and DJ'd the party, and all they played was music from the Streets of Rage game, and it was a jumping party. Like you can look it up on YouTube. The party was jumping. All they played was music from the game. Go straight, all that in the at the bar, all that stuff.
Go straight.
They played that, and the party was lit. The whole video was like an hour. The party was lit. I was like, okay, Final Fantasy. No, they selling out concert halls, but Streets of Rage, you can put on a good party for that. And then I was like, Sonic ain't doing neither one of those things. That's why I gotta put it number 3.
Oh man, I see. This is one of the reasons I love having this show, is because I learn about some weird shit sometimes, and I really appreciate it and I like it. But it be, I mean, now I'm gonna have to look it up. Yes. Because you did that.
Yes.
Like I got to see some people getting live while it's chicken or something like that.
Yo, but I'm telling you, it was fun. It was dope. I was like, I was watching. I'm like, damn, I wish I was there. Like it was a really jumping party. I was like, oh man, that was dope.
Okay.
So I watched the whole thing. I'm like, okay, I wonder what they're gonna play next. Like, oh,
All right, so I better move on because I could just keep talking about this and
Yeah.
asking curious ass questions. But next console I'm gonna have to put on the board is gonna be the PlayStation 3. I want you to list 2 games from there that you think of.
PlayStation 3. I think of Metal Gear Solid 4 and Final Fantasy 13, even though nobody liked it.
Even though you didn't have to throw that jab in there.
I beat Final. I remember I beat because no. So one of my favorite games for the PlayStation 3, Mod Nation Racers.
I don't even know that game, bro.
Oh my, nobody, yo, I'm telling you.
Okay. I never heard of that joint.
Mod Nation Racers could be the game that would rival Mario Kart.
Yeah,
it would be the game.
Here we go again.
Yes. Let me tell you why. And I think Mario Kart's going to steal their formula for the next game if they're smart. So on PlayStation 3, there's a game called Mod Nation Racers, and Mod Nation Racers was a game where it was custom content. You can create anything in the game. So it was a kart racing game similar to Mario Kart, similar to Mario Kart, and you can create your own. You can create your own race car in it. You can create your own character, and you can create your own tracks. And then what you could do is upload the tracks to PlayStation because it was a PlayStation exclusive, and share your tracks and everything, or share your creations with the PlayStation Network. So
kind of like a Forge kind of thing.
Yeah. So what people were doing was they were creating anything and everything in the game. They were creating Mortal Kombat characters. They were creating Ninja Turtles. They were creating the Mario Kart characters in the game.
Oh no!
They're creating the Mario Kart characters in the game, and they're creating the same carts from Mario Kart in the Mod Nation Racers game. They were also creating the Mario Kart tracks because they had a custom track creator in the game. The tracks from Mario Kart into that game. So like you could literally play Mario Kart on that game because people were creating the tracks and the characters. People created Princess Peach. People created Barack Obama. People created Lil Wayne. Drake was on people created Drake. Yes, they created.
He's rolling through the six.
Yes, they created. I told you, Scorpion and Sub-Zero in the game. People created them. Mike Tyson, like whoever you could think about, or whatever you could think, like whoever you could think about, like, as far as creating a character, you can create in that game, and then you can create your own custom cart. And I said custom tracks, and people were creating their own tracks. One of the biggest downloads was somebody recreated Rainbow Road in that game. So that was a dope game. It had its issues because the load times are really, really bad. But but the game played well. My only knock on that game was the load times. The load times were bad. Like it could be up to a minute on PlayStation 3, up to a minute to 3 minutes on PlayStation 3 on a modern console. I was like, bro, why are these load times so crazy?
You thought your shit froze.
Yeah, there were times when I thought it froze. I was like, did this thing freeze? It's like, nah, it's just the load times were that bad. But the game played very well when you finally got loaded in. The game played very well. So, they should have kept that game going. They created a sequel on the PS Vita that didn't do well, and then they closed the studio down. So you're never going to see that game again. But that's a game that could have rivaled Mario Kart. I'm telling you, Mario Kart is going to steal their formula for the next game. Like, so I feel like, so right now Mario Kart has Mario Kart 8 Mario Kart 8. They got 40 new tracks or whatever. Whenever they make Mario Kart 9, because we haven't got a new Mario Kart since 2014. Since 2014, excuse me. A lot of people don't realize that. Though. Yo, Mario Kart 8 came out a year after GTA 5.
So we sitting here and being mad at Take-Two.
And we should be mad at Nintendo.
That's cool. I'm still mad at Take-Two because they putting out definitive editions that ain't working right and stuff like that.
And Nintendo, nobody looking at Nintendo like, yo, where's the new Mario Kart? Y'all on Mario Kart 8 since 2014. So I think in Mario Kart 9, they're gonna do the custom tracks and the custom creator and all that. I think they're gonna do that in that game.
That'd be slapping.
I think that's what they're gonna do. I think that's what they're gonna do. If they'd be dumb not to do it, in my opinion.
Okay. Well, the last things I'm gonna have you try to go back or remember console-wise are gonna be from the 2 new consoles that are out. And I want you to go into the future and tell me 2 games that come to mind when you think of one PS5 and the other Xbox Series X. What are the 2 games that come to mind when you think of those for the future?
PS5, I think Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. That's another game that I got.
No, I'm talking about games that haven't came out yet.
Games that I'm thinking about. I'm really thinking about, because like there's a couple of games that I'm actually on the lookout for. The Gotham Knights game, the Gundam Evolution game. It's supposed to be like Gundam Overwatch.
Okay. The one that they just showed not that long ago at one of the showcases?
Yes.
Okay.
I've been thinking about that game. They're gonna make another Ninja Turtles game. It's gonna be dope. No, I'm a sucker for the retro beat 'em up. The Ghostbusters game. I'm looking forward to seeing the Forspoken game.
Okay, yeah, I think that one comes out in like October or something.
Yeah, it comes out. It got pushed back. God of War, but I need to play the previous one.
Oh, you haven't played 2018 yet?
Mm-mm.
Bro,
I've seen so many people
chilling. You just been chilling.
I've been focused on like my day job and my career, because my career is I'm about to make a jump. I'm about to jump to my next level in my career. So I've been dotting on my I's and crossing my T's as far as that. So my gaming took a hit the last 3 or 4 months because of that. I've been studying for tests and getting certifications, all that stuff. So like it's taking up a lot of my time. I'm like, it's a good thing that you asked me this week to be here. Thank you for asking me to be here again. Thank you, I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Honored. I'm glad that you asked me this week, because I just got my certification last week that I've been studying like 4 months for, and this week I said I was taking a break from any studying. So I was like, so when you asked me to be here and share in with your community, I was like, I'm glad you asked me this week, because this was the week I was taking a break, and so it was perfect.
I'm happy
it was perfect.
Because we've been chatting about doing this a little bit, but I never got to you about a specific date and whatnot, and I just kind of hit you up like randomly, like, "Yo, you available this week?" And you were. Perfect.
Happened to be a perfect day.
That's what's up. So now I want to know what Danger's least favorite genre is when it comes to video games.
It seems to be the strategy or tactical games,
like RTS,
like the RTS type of games, like the tactical games. So something like a Valkyrie Profile doesn't what is it, Valkyrie Chronicles it's Valkyrie Chronicles. Valkyria Chronicles, like the Civilizations, like those games don't really appeal to me. I did promise a buddy of mine I was going to play Final Fantasy Tactics, because it's considered like a classic game. He was like, yo, if you're going to play any type of strategy tactical game, that's the game you should play. So I said I was going to play that, but outside of that, it's like they've never really appealed to me. Like the I think Fire Emblem is another game that's like that. It just never appealed to me. Like it just felt a little slow. I'm more of like an action RPG type. Even if it's a turn-based RPG, I'm more of that style of game. But that's like my least favorite, the RTS joints.
I feel you. Man, you know a genre that I was really big into that I feel like I'm falling off of quite a bit is sports. I played the hell out of sports games growing up.
Yes, me too.
But now it's just like, all there is in basketball is just 2K, and all there is in football is just Madden. And it doesn't seem...
Even soccer is FIFA.
Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't feel like any sports games are really pushing the needle. Feels like they're just kind of giving us the runaround like Call of Duty, where it's kind of the same thing every year, just a new cover on it, and a couple new people in the game, and that's about it.
I meant to remake this video on my channel, but I had a whole thing on my channel with why they should spread out the release of sports games every year. So like recently something happened that supported my argument. So they were releasing a new wrestling game every year, WWE 2K. They were releasing a new one every year, and WWE 2K20, the 2021 was so bad that they didn't come out with 21. They're like, yo, we're skipping 21. We're gonna release it on 22. So 22 recently just came out, and the whole wrestling world, the 22 is like the greatest wrestling game right now. They said it has small issues, but issues that they like, yo, we can overlook these because the rest of the game is phenomenal. It looks good, it plays good. There's no everything that they had a problem with in the last like 5 or 6 games has been cleaned up and fixed. And I was saying, like, see, this is why we need a longer time in between the games. So like, I always argue there should be a new sports game every 4 years. But I was like, that's probably asking a little much. So I was like, yo, every 2 years. So exactly what happened with the wrestling game. There hasn't been a new one for 2 years because they worked on it for 2 years, and the new one came out and the game's phenomenal. So I'm like, yo, this supports my argument about, yo, sports games should only come out every 2 years.
Right. No, I 150% agree with you on this one because like I just said, it feels like kind of the same old BS every year. And right now, Madden's like the next one to be so bad. I feel like if they don't figure it out this year, that they're gonna end up like 2K20 for WWE. And I tell you,
and Madden this year can't be bad because John Madden just passed away. It can't be. Yeah. It can't be. If it's bad this year,
Didn't even think of that.
If it's bad this year, the community's gonna turn. The community's gonna turn on them. It can't be bad this year. And John Madden needs to be on the cover. And John Madden needs to be on the cover again.
Yeah, because those were pretty iconic back in the day when he was on the cover and stuff like that. Now it's just, but you see what they're gonna do with it though. What they're gonna do is they're gonna take a regular football player and put him on the cover, but then they're gonna say, get the special edition for $100
with John Madden on it.
Yeah, with John Madden on the cover.
I thought that too. I thought they're probably gonna make that a special edition or something. No, he should be on the regular joint this year because he passed away and it has his namesake on there, John Madden. Like,
give the man his respect.
Give that man his respect, yo. He should be on it this year.
Especially since he ain't really take no money from him at all.
Yo, he didn't take much from them, nah.
Nah, because remember, they asked him if he wanted to be part of it, and he was like, he wasn't really thinking the video game world was going to go the way that it has, so he's like, I'm good. You guys can have my name. You can give me the money for that. But keep it moving after that.
He didn't even want them to make the game originally because they were talking about 7-on-7 because of the issues with programming at the time. The first Madden football, he was like, yeah, so we're gonna do 7-on-7 because programmatically it's easier for us. He was like, football is not 7-on-7. It's 11. It's 11-on-11. It's like, yo, I'm not putting my name on this if y'all do that.
Like, what you talking about? Practice?
I'm not putting my name on it if y'all do that. So, they reworked the game and reworked the game and reworked the game and reworked the game. Finally, like, yo, we got 11-on-11 to work. And then he's like, I put my name on it. And then, of course, he sat there because they met because John Madden was scared of flying. So they met him on a train, and he literally sat there and wrote out all the plays for the original Madden.
That's insane. I didn't
So
know that.
So the original Madden football, John Madden wrote them plays. Like he sat there on the train and wrote them out and gave them to the guys on Electronic Art.
That's dope. That's pretty dope. That's as authentic as it gets right there. You got the football coach writing the plays for the game. And the game got his name on it. So it don't get much more authentic than that. I was a big John Madden fan back in the day. I remember you go out for a pass and they have the 3 windows up top, A, B, and C.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. They got the person waving their hands in the air.
That used to distract me because I'm like, me playing football, like I was like, I can't see the rest of the defense to see if you're actually open. Because it would just show the guy, and you're like, you don't know if the other guy or the defender is next to him. He's not even open.
Right.
I used to get mad.
And throw a pick right away.
I threw a pick so many times because of that. Because I was like, I don't even know my man's open because I can't see the rest of the field. So he looks open. And then, of course, when you throw it, you see the rest of the field like, oh, he's 2 people on him.
Yeah, because every time you throw it, that ball goes way up in the air like it's a Hail Mary, and you're like, oh, crap, that's where it's going.
You see 2 people on, I'm like, bruh. That's why even like I played Madden recently, like maybe last year with my nephew, and I haven't played Madden in years before this day. This is last year, but before that, it had to be like 5 or 6 years. And because I play football so much, like for some reason, like my nephew, he scored 14 and then couldn't score nothing after that. But then I couldn't score because I wasn't used to the new controls. So I'm like, but he was like, how come I ain't scored? It was like, I was like, because you don't know what you're doing. I'm like looking at your offense. I'm like, oh, you're running this. I was like, you forget I played football like damn near my whole life. So I'm like, I'm looking at him, oh, you're running this. Then he would run that. I'm like, oh, okay. So I knew what defensive call. I knew where to move my defenders. Like I figured out how to get the defense working really well. I couldn't figure out the offense the last time I played. But he was mad that once I figured out that, he played another game and it was like 3-0. I won because I couldn't figure out the offense. But I figured out the defense. He couldn't.
Defense.
Yo, I had like the 2000 Ravens defense. You wasn't getting nothing. Nothing on my defense, man.
Dope. So let's go back to just a year ago, 2021. I want you to tell me a few games that are your top rated games for last year that you played.
I was just thinking about this before we came on. Oh, that I played for last year? Okay, I got it. So, I like Back 4 Blood.
Really? You love that game, huh?
Yeah, I like Back 4 Blood. For the most part, people like that game. There was some people that, they was ragging on it, but I was like, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I don't care what anybody says. So I enjoyed that game. Halo Infinite, I enjoyed.
I was not a card fan of the Back 4 Blood. I didn't like the cards. The cards was my only beef with the game. That was my only beef. Because it was like... Well, at least you can agree with me on that part, at least, because that was by far the part that I hated the most about that game.
The card thing, because it was just like, they tried to, I guess what they tried to do was like an RPG-like system with the cards, and it just became too convoluted because it was, I think really what it was too many cards. It's really what it was. It was just like, okay, they should have just had like, okay, you have this 1 or 2 card. So they had like a deck of 5. Okay, you have these 5 cards, make them interchangeable. But then there was a whole thing about stacking the cards and all that stuff. I was like, bro, y'all just made this complicated for no reason.
Right. That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, what am I doing here? And then I just would be like, screw it, and just get into the game. Yeah. Because I had no idea what I was doing with those cards.
Yeah. So that was the one part of the game I didn't enjoy. Everything else was fun. You team up with your buddies, shooting zombies, all the games and the guns were played real nice. The game,
that shotgun was nasty in that game.
yes, like that game was fun. Outside of that card system, that game was really fun. So I really enjoyed playing that game. I enjoy playing Halo because when the campaign came out, that was fun. But even playing multiplayer was fun. I had it took me a while to get used to it, but once I got used to it, it was fun. I enjoyed playing Halo. And then there was the Scarlet Nexus game, which is a single player game.
Yes, let's go. That
game was fun. That game was fun. Nice little fast action game, fast paced game. Loved, saying RPG elements in the game. I loved it. It was fun. I think it was a sleeper because Bandai Namco gets a lot of slack for they keep making the same fighting anime game, but this game was a single player action game, which was really fun. I really enjoyed it.
That was a fantastic game. The only thing that could have made that game better was the cutscenes. If they could have fully animated that, yeah. But it was more like a comic. So for some people, or at least for me, on my first playthrough, it was hard for me to pay attention to it, and then like the game started getting pretty heated, and then I was like, all right, I'm into this now. I'll watch everything. And then I did my second playthrough and I beat it then. But the second playthrough, I watched everything because the first playthrough locked me in that damn tight. I wanted to get to know all the characters and yeah.
I enjoyed that game. Like I was kind of like, I played the demo. I was like, oh, this game is dope, man. I'm gonna buy it. I didn't end up buying it, and then it came to Game Pass, and I have the Game Pass for PC. And and then that's when I played through the game. So that game I definitely enjoyed too.
That's what's up.
There was even though it's just a repackaging of the old game, Scott Pilgrim versus the World, they brought it back.
Oh, word? You like that?
I'm a sucker for
Switch, right?
No, it was Scott Pilgrim versus the World was on everything. So
okay.
Scott Pilgrim versus the World, I'm a sucker for old school beat 'em up. So like Streets of Rage, Final Fight type of game like that. So that's the way Scott Pilgrim versus the World was. I'm a sucker for that type of game. And that game was fun. I had it for the PlayStation 3. Like I still have it on my PlayStation 3. But then they had a licensing issue. So they took it off the PlayStation. They took it off the PlayStation Store. So like if you didn't already have it, that was it. You didn't have the game anymore. So I was wondering
if you deleted it.
Couldn't get it back.
For real?
Couldn't get it back. No. I think you could you could re-download it. No, you could re-download it. Because I did.
So it just had to be in your library.
Yeah, you could re-download it. But if you were somebody brand new trying to get the game, no, that was the same thing for the Ninja Turtles reshelled game. I'm one of the few people that have that. They remade Turtles in Time for PS3 and Xbox 360. But I'm one of the few that have that. But yeah, Scott Pilgrim vs. World, they brought that game back, and I enjoy playing that. They brought it back, I guess, because they figured out the licensing issue. The creator of Scott Pilgrim, the comic, wanted it to come back too. So I know they worked out something with Konami, and they got the game back. And then they released it on everything. It's on Xbox, PlayStation 4, PC, Switch. It's on everything. So if you haven't played it.
I was going to say, because, I haven't played it, obviously, because I only thought it was out for the Switch. I personally only thought it was out for the Switch. So it's
on everything. It's on everything.
All right, Danger. Now we need to know what your favorite studio of all time is and what game best represents said studio.
This is the easy one for me.
You going with Enix?
Square Enix.
Yep.
You already know. You already knew. How many times you asked me a question and it was Final Fantasy VII? Because Final Fantasy VII is one of those quintessential games. So even the remake, which I haven't finished, is probably going to be considered one of the greatest games of all time because the Final Fantasy remake is so good. And I'm like, man, I'm playing through the game feeling like a kid again. because you know.
Because you already beat the game.
Yeah.
Now you're just going through the remake. So this remake thing is more of a relaxing, high fidelity, really nice upgrade.
Yeah, and like and then they added stuff. So like sometimes I feel like I know what's gonna happen. And I'm like, oh wait, this is the stuff they added. So like I'm actually like really surprised sometimes when I play the game. I'm playing the game. I'm like, oh what? Oh okay, because like I said, they added so much extra things to the game that you might know the story and everything that happens, but then you don't know what's gonna happen in between because whether they added and what they took away. I really feel like they didn't take away anything. They just added to it. And it's been a fun ride for what I've experienced so far. I'm halfway through the game right now. So
it's a long time since Squaresoft.
But Square Enix, because all the OG Final Fantasies that I've played, because I played Final Fantasy, the first one, I played the third one, I played 7, 8, and 9. I've played through 12. I haven't played through 10. Then of course some of their other games like Xenogears I've played Brave Fencer Musashi. This is original PlayStation. I'm one of the few people that actually enjoyed Outriders.
I loved Outriders. I don't care what anybody says. I thought that game was really fun. I liked the way you could like stack the stuff onto your guns and stuff like that. The story was okay, but the gameplay was fire.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed the gameplay. So like all those classic games that Square Enix had, and like just kind of like when I think about them, they defined my childhood in a sense. So Final Fantasy 14, I definitely enjoyed Chrono Trigger, Chrono Cross which they're remaking. I'm sitting here like, yo, like all those games. Kingdom Hearts, how can I forget Kingdom Hearts? Like Kingdom Hearts 2 was one of my favorite games playing. That's one of the games I beat in Iraq. So
Final Fantasy is just revolved around your life.
Yes, always.
I know what your favorite. I ain't even asked you what your favorite studio or game is ever again. I get it. You've talked about it quite a bit throughout this podcast. I was about to go with Platinum Games because of Bayonetta 1 and 2. I enjoyed Metal Gear Revengeance. I enjoyed Wonderful 101. There was another game that they did that I enjoyed too. I can't remember. Babylon's Fall.
No, not that game.
I'm just playing.
Not that game. It was. I'm trying to remember the name of the game right now. It was a game that they did that I liked. Transformers Devastation.
Okay.
That game. And then of course everybody tells me that I didn't play it, but they said everybody tells me Astral Chain is a good game.
Say that again.
Astral Chain.
Oh, Astral
on the Switch.
Chain? Yep.
Yes, I heard that was a good game, but I haven't played it. But I played Transformers Devastation. I have it. Wonderful 101. I played both Bayonetta games. I had a Switch for a little bit, so I played Bayonetta 2. I have Bayonetta 1 and Transformers Devastation. Like those are all games that I really enjoyed that Platinum Games did. And then of course Metal Gear Revengeance too. But Metal Gear Revengeance was a dope game. I wish they would have made a second one, but
okay.
How that goes.
Pause real quick. What happened to the Switch?
So at the time, what I'm saying, I was a member of Broke Five Broke. So had to sell it, and I had somebody that was willing to buy it because I also had a Pro Controller with it. So, and for some reason, there was a time where nobody wanted to buy the Switch Pro Controller because Nintendo priced it at $70 for some reason. Like most game controllers were $50.
Right.
They priced theirs at $70. And everybody was like, bro, why should that game controller $70? I just happened to find I had like a coupon or something, and I got mine for $50. Remember I had a coupon on, I had mine for a coupon of this, so I got mine for $50. So like the fact that I had the Switch Pro controller and the Nintendo Switch, and I was selling it with like a bundle. Like people was like, I literally put it up. I probably put it up like on like Craigslist or Let Go or something, and it was sold that same day. Like just because I had the Pro controller. But it was, I had to pay some bills, and I look back on it and I was like, yo, I didn't even end up paying that. I didn't even end up paying that creditor until like weeks later, because I had to use that money to like, live for like, I had to lose that $250 to live for that like the next week or so. So I didn't even end up paying them until like later on. So I was like, I thought I should have just kept it.
That's how it goes. You end up that was most of my life upgrading in games, was selling to get the next things, and then I'd look back like I probably didn't need to do that, but I did it anyways, and I really needed the cash, so put me back in that situation, I'd probably do the same thing again.
Yeah, I was. No. Now I think about it, like I got groceries with that money, so I needed that money. Right. It was a real tough time, and then I said, oh, I'm gonna just get a Switch again, and then I ended up getting a Switch again. I could buy a Switch right now. I just haven't felt the need to.
Fair enough. Yeah, because if you see, I have 2 Switches up there, and they ain't moving. They ain't moving.
And then I thought about getting the OLED when it came out.
I don't know, man. I don't know. You might want to wait for a good game that you know that you want before you even dive back into that. Unless you know that you got something that you're ready to play right now.
Only thing I can think of off the top of my head is Astral Chain. Just because Platinum. Like who I will put behind Square as my favorite studio.
Well, right now, Platinum need to take a break because they need to go back to the drawing board and figure some things out.
Bayonetta 3 cannot be bad. If it's bad, that's the end of this. If Bayonetta 3 is bad, that's the end of their studio.
It's the end of their career.
Man, that's the end of their studio. Like you can't do 2 bad games in a row. You can do one and then your next one is good, but 2 bad games in a row, you might end your studio nowadays.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because who that just happened to? I think that just happened to BioWare. BioWare put out Anthem, and then they put out something else, and then it was like, yo, y'all done.
Yeah, I mean, the last thing that I think, they worked on the recent Mass Effect Legendary Edition. But other than that, I mean, that's an old game. You're just making it look pretty again.
You just spruced it up.
Yeah. There ain't no like real freshness that you're doing other than fidelity wise for that game. I think maybe some sound.
I think BioWare right now. So they did 2 bad games in a row, where they did Anthem, and I think it was people really didn't like the Mass Effect Andromeda. Mm-hmm. So it was kind of they're kind of on the hook for that. So they got to do Dragon Age 4. Dragon Age 4 is bad. That's the end of their studio there. Damn,
Danger's at their neck right now.
No, that's the way it is, bro. Like this Dragon Age 4 is bad. Yeah, because they did. But they did Mass Effect Andromeda 2017. Did Anthem 2019. Both of those things weren't well received. Mass Effect Legendary Edition, but that was just a remaster or a remake.
Yeah.
That was just a remaster.
That's just makeup. That's just makeup.
Yeah. So Dragon Age 4, and they're talking about a new Mass Effect after that. Mm-hmm. Dragon Age 4 is bad. We ain't gonna see another Mass Effect. That's the last Mass Effect we just got. Bold predictions.
Okay, that's very bold. I think they're gonna come out with another Mass Effect, and I don't trust them. Not right now, at least. Not right now. I mean, they're gonna really they're gonna have to go back to the drawing board the way that Bethesda did after 76. They're gonna have to hit that drawing board hard, and then come out and do all this like PR and stuff like that for it to make it look good, and they're gonna have to show gameplay. I mean, right now they're just not trusted at all.
So my buddy Random Arizona dude is like the Fallout guy. Like that's the Fallout guy right there. Like I don't know anybody that's a bigger Fallout fan than him. Random Arizona dude, the guy that you watch me do the podcast with, the other podcast.
Yeah, you actually did that for the Activision deal Actually,
Yes.
now that I think back about it, because that's why he
Yes.
was getting so hot and everything.
Yeah. So, I was the only time I've played Fallout 76 is with him, and it was fun because he's the biggest Fallout fan in the world. So playing with him, like you're gonna have fun no matter who you are. But from what I've seen personally in the game, like if you're gonna play Fallout 76, now it's the time to play because it's actually all the things that were a problem when it launched, because it launched in a terrible shape. That's all over now. Like it's actually a really good game now, and people in the gaming community, like some of the reputable IGN and Game Informer, they've all said the same thing. They're like, "Yo, if you're gonna play it now, now's the time to play it because it's actually good now. They fixed everything." So
years later, but it's fixed.
But it's fixed now. So like that's the time to play it. And that's the one thing that I tell folks about gaming now versus gaming back when we were like in middle school or high school, or even when we were young adults, is if you put out a game,
that's it.
And it was bad, it was just bad. There was no we're gonna go back to there was no DLC to fix it, there was no patching, whatever. Unless it was a PC game, which even that was rare back in the day. There was no patches to fix it. There was no DLC. It was bad. It was just a bad game. And you just took an L, and that was it. But now it's kind of like if a game is bad, it's kind of like, hey, give us time to fix it. And sometimes the gaming community is like, okay, we'll see. Let's see what you got. Let's go ahead and fix it, and let's see what you got. Because
that's irritating. It's irritating too.
It's irritating too if you bought it on day one or you pre-ordered it, which is why sometimes I don't pre-order. Which is why I don't pre-order games really, because if it's bad, because it could be bad day one and you're just like it could be bad day one and you're just like, now I gotta wait for them to fix it.
Because who knows when they're gonna fix it?
Yeah, and then it could be a situation like a Final Fantasy 14 where like they had to redo the whole game. Because Final Fantasy 14, people don't remember Final Fantasy 14 was really bad when it first came out. It was so bad that they took the game offline, reworked the entire game. They pretty much redid the whole game and then called it A Realm Reborn. Put it right back out, and then the game was better. The game was phenomenal after that.
What makes me mad is like the whole cyberpunk kind of thing, where by the time it's working good, it's $25. Come on, man. Come on now. Like I buy it for full price. I don't get no better benefit than the person that bought it for $25 after it actually works.
I think the whole thing with Cyberpunk and CD Projekt Red was they knew it wasn't ready, but they had delayed it for so long. They had to finally put it out because it was getting to the point where like they were going to start losing a lot of money if they delayed it anymore. So they was like, yo, we got to put this out because we're estimated to lose this much money if we don't put it out. And then like some of their partners and retailers were threatening to not even carry the game or sell the because like for the physical copies, like some of their retail partners was like, yo, we're not gonna carry the game because what the hell, y'all taking forever to come out with it. So then they had to put it out, but they knew it wasn't ready. And then one of my a bigger content creator that I really enjoy watching, he said like, yo, y'all might want to wait to see what happens with Cyberpunk and buying the game, because CD Projekt Red, who was the developers of the game, they've never launched the game in a good state. Every time they've launched the game, at launch it was bad.
Yeah, The Witcher was really bad.
He said all the Witcher games. He said all the Witcher games that they've ever. They make The Witcher. For those of you that don't know, CD Projekt Red also made The Witcher made Cyberpunk. Mm-hmm. Every game that they've ever launched, on launch day it was bad. So he was like, what makes you think that that Cyberpunk's going to be good on day one?
Especially with as ambitious as they were about that game.
Yes. He's like, so exactly that happened. And he was just like, don't be mad. And then he was like, don't be mad at me. I told y'all, like, they've never launched a game. Like, we like The Witcher 3 now because they fixed it and it's a great game now. But when it launched, it was terrible. So he was like, Cyberpunk 2077 is going to be the same thing. He was like, yo, Cyberpunk is going to be the same thing. It's going to launch in a bad state. And that's what happened. And now, like, Cyberpunk probably actually worth playing now because they're starting to fix everything. And now they're trying to make the next gen version on PlayStation stuff. I was mad that, you know, with Cyberpunk, that on base PS4 and base Xbox One, like, the shit didn't run well.
That's what it was marketed for.
And that's mainly what it was marketed for. Like, when they first announced the game, they was like, yo, it's coming to PS4.
Right? And then we're gonna delay it. We'll see y'all next year. And then again, we're gonna delay it. We'll see y'all next year. Yeah. All the way up until the new consoles came out.
Yes. Matter of fact, they announced Cyberpunk 2070. They announced maybe a year or two after, like, no, they announced Cyberpunk before PS4 was even out.
No, they didn't, did they?
Yeah.
So
before PS4 was even out.
So they did this pre-2013. Because if I remember, that's when the new consoles came out. Yeah. Xbox One, PS4 was 2013, if I can remember.
Yo, it was before that. It was either the year the PlayStation came out or the year before. It was like PlayStation 4 wasn't even out yet, and even they was announcing Cyberpunk PS4, and then it was looking like, yo, we ain't gonna get it to PS5. And they're like, no, we're gonna release it on PS4. And then on PS4, it didn't even run well. I had a homegirl. Her name was Fluffy. She bought it. She had it on base PS4. She was like, yeah, that thing, a PlayStation sounded like it was gonna explode. It was bad. Like,
them jet engines are running.
Just running. And then, like, surprisingly, it ran best on Google Stadia, which nobody which nobody has except for me for like a couple months.
Okay, so what happened with Stadia? Why ain't you playing that no more?
Didn't really have a need for it. I wanted to try it out and see. Stadia seemed like Stadia is so here's the thing about cloud gaming. It's a good idea that nobody has been able to execute yet.
You don't think Stadia's executed it very well?
No, the execution was poor because of their pricing model. They needed something similar to what Game Pass has, because Game Pass has cloud gaming, and the cloud gaming works over there. But they knew what their pricing model was. Like, Game Pass is okay, $15 a month, $21 a month. You'll get this, that, and the third, and you have cloud gaming where these games work on the cloud.
Yeah, it's part of a bundle instead of just one piece. It's part of a
bundle. Whereas, like, Stadia was like, okay, you can get this, and they had like 4 different pricing models, and it was just like, so you have to pay for Stadia, then you have to pay for the game too, and it was just like, okay, like, oh, but then you get free games too if you pay at this price point. It was like the pricing model was confusing. The technology worked perfect, but the pricing model was bad, and that's why it kind of been a commercial failure. It's been a commercial failure.
I got a question for you real quick before you continue. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's cloud gaming, right? Mm-hmm. You buy a game off of there. Let's say your service lapse. Are you no longer able to play the game?
I am not sure.
So I'm wondering.
I never actually bought anything off of there. So I was paying. So what I was doing was I was paying like the monthly fee, mm-hmm. and they had something. They had like a Game Pass type of thing where like certain games were free or discounted. So like every month they would have, kind of like PlayStation, they have like a few free games, and then you could download them and keep them forever as long as you had the service. But then like when I stopped paying, those games disappeared. So yeah, I guess so. Like when I stopped playing, those games disappeared. But then again, those were free games that they gave me, so I didn't pay like full price for one of those games. So I don't know like if I paid. So if I went on Stadia, paid for a game, but then I didn't want to pay the monthly service anymore. Will I be able to play those games still? I don't know, because Stadia does have a free version, but the only game that I saw that was like completely free was Destiny. Like I could still go in there now and play Destiny, and even though I'm not like
anywhere though.
Yeah, even though I'm not a monthly member of Stadia anymore, because like they call that the Stadia Pro, and then of course they had like kind of like Game Pass or PSN Plus. They had like those free games as long as we had, because I had like Hitman. I had a bunch of games on there when I had the service. But no, I don't have those games no more because I'm not paying the fee. So,
gotcha. All right, well, we can move on from there. I'm kind of wondering now. We're about 2 hours into the show.
Mm-hmm.
Is there 2 games that you would like to revive from a long time ago? Do you have any old ass games that you want to see come back?
So I kind of touched on one earlier. So the games I want revived have been revived. So I wanted a new Streets of Rage game. Mm-hmm. They did that, Streets of Rage 4. I wanted a new Turtles in Time type of game. They're doing that. That's coming out later this year. So I'm like, okay, that's being done.
Let's go.
I want to see like a competitive Twisted Metal game.
Okay.
Another Twisted Metal game, like a kind of competitive. Some people feel like Twisted Metal burned itself out, but I feel like they can make that game now and put like a real competitive mode on it, and if they can figure out how to balance it, they would have to try to figure out a way to balance it. But I feel like Twisted Metal could come back now, because there's another game, I can't remember the name of it right now, that's similar right now.
Vigilante. Oh, I was gonna say Vigilante 8, but that's old.
No. It's a free to play game. I had a friend that was playing it the other day. I can't remember. He was playing it on Twitch. I was like, yo, this kind of reminds me of Twisted Metal. He's like, yeah, it's kind of like that, but it was a lot slower than Twisted Metal. It was a lot slower. But it was like, there was cars and they were shooting each other and they was crashing into each other and blowing stuff up. And I was like, and it's a free to play game that people were playing like online. And I was like, see, Twisted Metal could come back if this game is still here. This Twisted Metal could come back and do what this game does. Probably, if they could just do it on a higher level, that game could be good. So I was like, Twisted Metal and the game I told you about, Mod Nation Racers.
Yep, that PS3 game that you were loving on, that had, I'm
telling you,
Rainbow Road that took 3 minutes to load up.
Yeah, that was the main beef with that game. Everybody had a beef with them loading times, but they had a campaign mode that was in that game too. That it was hilarious, because like it's a racing game and they had like a whole like NASCAR setup where like they had 2 announcers and they had like a Mod Nation Racer Cup and all that stuff, championship you can win. And they had a dynamic where the 2 announcers didn't like each other. So like,
ooh, that's nice.
So that they would get into fights and argue with each other, and like it was hilarious. I was like, yo, this is like an underrated portion of the game that nobody talks about. Was this campaign mode was fun. So I would love to see that game come back. Those 2 games come back.
I feel that. Yeah, I'd like to see a rival game to Mario Kart on a newer platform than something like Switch at this point. But is there anything within the gaming spectrum that frustrates you?
Within the gaming spectrum, we kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, was games not being ready on day one. That frustrates me a lot, because it could be a game and they showing all the previews and the combat and all this stuff with the game. You're like, man, that looks dope. And then on day one, the game doesn't work the way it's supposed to work. Or there's a large day one patch. Or now we gotta add all this content to the game, because maybe the game's good but doesn't have enough content. And we have all this content down the road or whatever. I'm like, so y'all didn't finish the game.
Halo.
Halo. Halo was like that. One game that I really enjoyed that everybody hates. Godfall was like that.
Like I didn't even know, because I'm not gonna lie, I played like an hour of Godfall, and I was like, I had just got done with God of War 2018, and I was just like, this is just like a really low quality God of War to me.
Yeah. So Godfall just didn't launch with everything it needed to launch with, because PlayStation didn't have a launch title. Remember, PS5 didn't really have a launch title. They found this little studio making this game, and they said, okay, y'all gonna be our launch title. And then I know all these stories behind the games too. I realized this. So with Godfall, PlayStation didn't have a launch title. They needed a launch title. They needed something, because they didn't have anything. They knew Ratchet & Clank wasn't going to be done. They knew the new God of War and Horizon Zero Dawn wasn't going to be done in time for anything. So they had nothing for launch. They had nothing to launch with. They had this Destruction All-Star game that wasn't even done either. So they needed something. So
that didn't come out until February.
Yeah, so then they had Godfall. There's like, and the studio was, and the Counterplay Games was the studio. So they were like, hey, we want to make your guys an exclusive for the launch of PlayStation 5. And Counterplay was like, yo, if you're trying to launch, if you want this to be a launch day game, we're not, it's not going to be ready. It's not going to be done. Like, we need more time to get the game ready. So then PlayStation was like, what do you need? And it was like, we need more people. PlayStation gave them $50 million. Was like, hire more people. We need this game on launch day. So that's what they did, but it still wasn't done. So they just launched what they had, and the game launched without a lot of content. Because the game, to me, was good, but it was just like, it was repetitive and then didn't have a lot of content. But I enjoyed it. But they didn't have a lot of content. Like, when they finally dropped the expansion, I was like, okay, this is what the game they should have launched. But yeah. So, but that's mainly what frustrates me in gaming, is launching unfinished games, and then we have to wait for a patch or an expansion for them to give us the rest of the game. And then sometimes they want to charge for that. That pisses me off.
I feel that. Now, on the opposite side, is there a dream come true that you have in the works that you would like to share with us?
As far as I'm
like
trying
gaming.
to think, like
just any kind of gaming dream come true, what you are, or like, you started your channel and something like that. Is there a dream that you had at the end of the tunnel, or?
So I definitely want to get, and this is going to be way down the line, and I need to really focus on this goal. I know that. So I'm gonna be honest with you. I haven't been focused on this goal, but I know this is a goal I want to hit. Two things. I want to try to get partnered on Twitch and YouTube. I want to try to get partnered on Twitch and YouTube, but I have not been focused on either one. Currently, I'm going to get back into it next, really like dropping content regularly next month, because I've just been my day job and my IT career is starting to really go in the direction that I need to go in. So I've been focused on that. So like the gaming has fell to the wayside. But my goal is to try to get partnered before October 7th on Twitch, because I am going to TwitchCon in San Diego in October. So I want to try to get partnered before then. So I know I'm going to ramp up a lot of my content creation next month to try to get there before October. I want to be partnered on YouTube. I was close once to that. I actually got partnered on YouTube. Like I was in like the review process, and they review my channel, and I had a bunch of content where they said, this is not your content. I had a bunch of rehashed content that you can't find anywhere. Basically, what I had was, so I'm a big rap fan, big hip hop fan, and I had all of the old BT rap ciphers. I had them all on my channel. You can't find all of them everywhere. I had them all on my channel. So the channel started to take off because of that. And then when YouTube reviewed my channel, it's like, yo, this isn't your content. You got to take it off. So I took it all off of my channel and I moved it to another channel. And I told people, hey, if you want to see that, it's over here. And I linked it, but it's not going to be here anymore. So if you're looking for that content, it's over there. And I lost like 2,000 or 3,000 subscribers that day too. Yeah, like my channel was at like my channel's at 3K right now. It was at like 6K before.
Dang, I didn't know you could fall off like that.
Yeah, because like I think half of those people were coming there for the ciphers because they can't find no ciphers anywhere. But I told them, hey, it's on my other channel, and that other channel is like it's took off, and I haven't done anything. I just moved all the stuff over there, and it's took off. Like
you can't really do anything with it though because it's not technically yours.
No. So what I told people, like, look, I'm not caring because I'm not so that particular channel, I'm not caring about it taking off or not. Like I don't really care what happens to that channel. But I wanted to tell the people, like, look, like you couldn't find this anywhere, but you could find it here. So I didn't want to just take it off and leave the people hanging because I am the people's choice. So I wanted to make sure that I always make sure I help the people. So I told the people, hey, they're not here, but they're here. You can go there, and they're all there. And you're not gonna be able to find them anywhere else on the internet because I'm the only one that had them. Like that was the whole thing. Like sometimes when you see a gap, and I saw a gap where like there was one day I was looking for, like, I was like, man, I remember them old BT rap ciphers from back in the day. Let me look them up. Couldn't find them nowhere. And then I found them like not even on YouTube, on like Vimeo and Daily Motion. I found them like over there. So then I took them from over there and moved them to YouTube. And people was like, yo, I've been looking for this for years. So then I went and found all the BT ciphers that I could find and then put them on YouTube. So they're all on that other channel. Like if you go to my Dangerous Voice channel and then you go to my About section, there's linked there. But yeah, that's what all them ciphers are. Like I had a video of a cipher that is crystal clear, but that like, yo, it's crystal clear because the cipher's clear. Any other video on the internet, it's a grainy ass video.
Right.
And I had all my videos are clear. And they're like, yo, how'd you even get these? I was like, shh. It's a lot of searching, man, but they're there. So I can always go on a tangent. I'm sorry. So those are my goals going forward with my content creation, is to get partnered on those two platforms. I just have to put in the work. I've been busy with my IT career. Things are going in the direction I need them to go in. So now I'm like, okay, since this is going in a way that I know is going, and I'm not going to deviate from this, I can focus more on my gaming now. And definitely next month it's going to be like, I'm dropping a lot of content. So.
All right. That's what's up. But now I'm kind of curious what kind of content you're going to be dropping here soon.
I'm going to be dropping some more clips. I'm going to be
reactions or
I'm gonna do it all and see like what I enjoy doing. I'm just gonna go through that whole process again. I'm gonna drop some more clips, some more stuff. I'm gonna drop some more clips, some more stuff, tell some more stories. I'm gonna do it all, man, and see where it goes, man. I kind of been wanting to do I've kind of been wanting to do a podcast format similar to this, but I just haven't had the time to actually sit down and do it. Like this week was like a good week for us to actually get together, because I could sit here and talk about games all day. And sometimes I know the story behind games, so maybe that's an idea now I just thought of. Like maybe I could do like knowing the story behind games. I always for some reason I think what I know is common knowledge, and then sometimes when I speak to somebody like yourself who's doing even somebody that's doing the gaming news and the gaming podcast stuff, sometimes they don't even know the stuff, and I'm like, wow. So maybe what I know isn't common knowledge.
No, nothing is really common. Like everyone wants to think, something is common knowledge or common decency and stuff like that. And then you go outside for 10 minutes and you're like, all right, don't nobody understand what common decency and stuff is sometimes. So you can always, no matter how much you think everybody knows something, there's still a large amount of people that don't understand something or need guidance or need push in the right direction in some way, shape, or form. So, so yeah. I mean, I would always. I mean, you obviously have a ton more followers than I do, but but there's always room for advice, and my advice is like, no matter. Just tell it to people as if you don't think anybody's ever heard of it before. You know what I'm saying? Because, I mean, somebody's going to hear it that hasn't heard it before, and they're going to be jaw-dropped and excited to hear it and ready to kind of go forward, and you are their guidance to get to that promised land that they're looking for.
I'll keep that in mind. That's good advice there. Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I do my best with what little I have. But, yeah, bro. What do you enjoy actually doing when you're not like playing video games or working or, you know, doing your responsibilities?
So, as of recently, I've been trying to hit the next level in my IT career, and so I've been doing a lot of in the tech field. Things are always changing, so you always have to upgrade your skills. So I've been making a concerted effort to upgrade my skills and learn the cloud and how the cloud works, because everything runs on the cloud. We're using the cloud right now. We're using Google's cloud because we're on YouTube. We're using Amazon's cloud because we're using Zoom. So, and the cloud that I actually been studying and getting certified in was AWS cloud. So if you're on Twitch, Twitch, Netflix, HBO Max, Dropbox, all runs on Amazon cloud or AWS. And we all use that. And if you have any of those services or use any of those services, you use Amazon cloud. So what I've been learning is how to manage the back end of all that and build those solutions and build those things so people can actually use them. So I've been learning that, upgrading my skills. I just got certified in being a solutions architect to learn how to build the cloud. I just got certified on Saturday on March 19th. So I've been learning that. So that's all I've really been doing outside of gaming and reading a lot of books. I'm reading a lot of books on it. So when I'm not doing that, I spend talking to my daughter, spending time with my daughter, Kid Danger. And yeah, pretty much it. I haven't been trying to catch up on some shows and some animes and stuff, but like I haven't been able to. Like I've really been catching up with making sure I stay up to date with Bel Air because I'm like really interested in it, so I make time for that.
Oh yeah, me and you are gonna go our separate ways after this show and go watch it.
Yeah, so like, but other than that, like I haven't really been keeping up. I've been like, I come home and I'm studying. I'm studying like something with the cloud because, like I said, I'm making that next jump in my my IT career. Now that I'm certified in this, like it's gonna be a lot more money. Even though it's gonna be a lot more work, it's gonna be a lot more money. That's always good. So.
And all them extra stats that you're adding to that LinkedIn and resume that we were talking about in the green room earlier. So, you putting that together, bro. So
LinkedIn runs on the same thing that Game Pass runs on. So if you don't know, Game Pass runs on Microsoft's cloud or Azure.
Azure.
That's what's cool. So Microsoft owns LinkedIn. I don't know if people know that. Microsoft owns
that. They owned LinkedIn.
Yeah, they bought LinkedIn a couple of years ago, so they own LinkedIn, and that's running on Microsoft Azure.
I knew they were powered by Azure, but I didn't know that they were owned by them.
That's why, because they're owned by this. Because like Xbox Game Pass runs on Azure, the cloud gaming stuff, all that stuff on Microsoft Azure cloud. So I'm telling you, cloud is like something that's really important. Even if you're not aware, you're probably using it in some fashion.
Okay. Yeah. Probably. Yeah. I'm using a bunch of different stuff, and I'm sure I'm using all sorts of crap that I don't even know what I'm using. And you're sitting there learning about it, getting degrees and everything.
Yeah, like
doing your thing.
Like I'm about to get certified in Google's cloud. They call it GCP, on Google Cloud Platform. That's what Stadia runs on. That's what Pokemon Go runs on.
What? Pokemon
Go runs on Google Cloud. Yes.
I wouldn't even thought of that.
Yeah, that's and Google Cloud was in its infancy when Google Cloud was in its infancy. See, this is another thing. I know the story behind this stuff. Google Cloud was in its infancy, like it was just coming out when Pokemon Go came out, because Niantic, the people that make Pokemon Go, they met with Google and they sat down with them. And it was like, yeah, so what's your most ambitious like goal? Like, how many people do you want on here? And then we'll build our platform around this to support it. It's like, yeah, so we're expecting on day one to have 1 million people play Pokemon Go. 1 million. That's like our most ambitious goal. This is like, okay, we're doing really good and smashing all of our goals. And if we get to 1 mil, and on day one they have 50.
Damn, that's crazy numbers.
Crash Google Cloud platform, which is why like on day one when Pokemon, I don't know if you remember when Pokemon Go, everybody was playing it. 50 million people signed up and played Pokemon Go, and then like a good 20, it was a good 10 to 15 million people that couldn't even get on it because it was like they crashed the whole joint.
Damn, that's heavy. That's really heavy, and I can't believe they had that many. I mean, I know that. I don't know why I'm saying I can't believe it, because it's Pokemon, right?
Pokemon, man.
But it's just insane to think about that many people at one time trying to jump into a service. I mean, you got things like what is it called? Like you try to go grab a graphics card in the freaking network or the website that you're trying to go to crashes. Right away.
Yes.
And that's not even close to the amount of people that were trying to hop into Pokemon. So that's insane, because there's no way there's 50 million people trying to get in NVIDIA and spend $1,000. There ain't no way.
No. They were. They were. And you know, it's a funny thing about Pokemon too. Pokemon, as big of a game and as big of a brand that it is, I learned today this about Pokemon. Pokemon was not supposed to go, as far as the games, they were not supposed to go past Gold and Silver.
So, but money, right? But money.
Yeah. So like the people that made it was okay. They had red, blue, and yellow plan, and then it's okay. Okay, so now they had an idea, okay, gold and silver, and then I think we're gonna wrap this up here. And then gold and silver was a hit, and then Nintendo was like, hey, nah, y'all gotta keep making them joints.
Yeah, Nintendo, you know them businessmen came to the table like, bro.
Nintendo was like, nah, y'all gotta keep making these joints, bro. But they were like, we don't really have a plan past gold and silver. That's when, and then they came out with Pokemon Crystal, which is why I think Pokemon Crystal was kind of like, some people consider that like, what the hell was this? Like, it was like, yeah, well, that wasn't supposed to, because Pokemon Crystal was kind of like, and it wasn't bad, but it wasn't that good. And they were like, what the hell is this that they came out with? And it was just like, well, that one was supposed to come out.
This is after hours that we're making this now. It's supposed to be closed. It's supposed to be done.
They just pushed that game. They just pushed that game out because Nintendo came to game for like, yo, y'all gotta make this. Y'all gotta keep making these joints. I'm like, no, we're making too much money over here.
Right.
Game Freak's like, we don't have a plan past this one. It was like, you better figure it out.
All right, bro. Well, we're reaching that time, and I gotta move on to the next question.
Oh man, I'm sorry, man.
Because we could sit here and chop it up all night. But
yeah, I can.
I don't know how many people trying to watch a 4-hour episode. So,
hey man, chop this thing up, man. Make clips, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I might have to do that. My boy Matt likes games. Figured out how to do some of that stuff, so I'm gonna have him help me out with it here in the near future. But but what I want you to do for me real quick is just let me know if you have any questions for myself at all before I hit you with the last question before we leave.
Oh, so my only question for you is what made you decide to start a gaming podcast? Like, how did that go about?
All right, so more or less because I moved away from like everyone that I knew. I grew up, born and raised in Lincoln, Nebraska. Didn't really like living there that much. There was nothing wrong with it. Great place to raise a family and stuff like that.
I have
really boring.
I have a good army buddy he lives there.
Yeah, I mean the living there. It's not all cornfields and super crazy boring like everybody thinks. It's a regular city. Lincoln and Omaha at least are like your traditional kind of cities. And but the thing is that there's nothing to do there other than go to Nebraska games, football games, and that's only like 5 months a year.
Yeah.
So I was tired of that, and I went on ahead and moved to Denver, Colorado. Lived there for 5 years. I was working as an indoor skydiving instructor, teaching people how to fly and stuff like that on a regular. So that was a lot of fun. Ended up meeting my lady. We had a kiddo. She's now my wife. But I didn't really know anybody when I moved out there other than her and a few friends from work and whatnot. I was really deep into gaming, but I was planning on, trying to move somewhere cheaper because Denver ain't cheap. Denver expensive. Denver's like living in Seattle, right?
Shit, it can't be worse than New York, yo.
No. It's probably about it's probably close to that level. But
really, Denver?
Price wise, yes, man. It's like maybe not actually, probably not near, not quite as bad.
New York is bad because I'm looking to move.
I feel you, but like rent for like a house in Denver is like minimum of like $2,800, and that's for like a 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom kind of house thing. Yeah.
New York prices. What the hell?
That's what I'm saying. So I had to get up out of there because I was just I was an indoor skydiving instructor. Sounds big and everything, but I was only making like $13 an hour and then tips. So there was no way I was to live good on that rate. So I moved here to Kansas City because it's a lot cheaper to live and I could do the same thing. I ended up getting hurt working there, though. I ended up hurting my back, and when I stopped working there, was around the same time kind of COVID really hit hard, right?
So they shut down.
So they shut down, and then I came back, and then I got hurt again, and at that point, I'm just kicking it at the crib, and I actually had bought the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and everything like that. And I was just like, I got all this stuff. I don't know anybody other than in chat rooms and stuff like that, like Xbox Live and whatnot. Like, who am I going to talk to about this? So I ended up signing up for Twitter and whatnot. And that's actually how I ended up getting my PS5 and everything before. I actually skipped that step. I started my Twitter first and then found the PS5 through this dude named Jake Randall that does like YouTube channels. Like, you probably know who I'm talking about. Dude's always, you're muted, I think.
I tried to get one from him.
Right. So you know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, I followed his stream and I actually got the Series X on launch day and the PS5 on launch day. Just by following him and hitting those buttons at the right time. Because it's just chance. It's all luck. I didn't button at the right time.
I didn't get one off of him, and I tried, and then I just randomly got an email one day. It was like PS5 at Walmart, and I called. No, I didn't call. No, I went on there and I was able to purchase it, and I was like, oh shit, I actually got one. So I have a PS5 now, and I got a controller that I ain't even open yet. Got the purple note.
But yeah, after I got my consoles and whatnot, and like I said, I was playing, but like not really having anybody to talk to other than the people in like Xbox Live and whatnot, 'cause that's what I mainly played on. I continued onto Twitter and started to notice that, man, there's a big gaming presence on Twitter, like a massive gaming presence, and it's easy to join into that compared to something like Facebook. Facebook is a little harder to kind of get into it and to get friends and like kind of make your own communities. It's a little tighter on Facebook than it is where it's kind of a wild west on Twitter. So I got into that, ended up meeting this dude named Loke7. He lives in Africa. At the time I didn't know. I hit him up and I was like, yo, bro, like, let's hop on Xbox and like play some games together, because I seen them talking about Series X and whatnot. I ended up hopping on there. We got on Gears of War, that expansion pack piece for it, up for Gears 5, Hive Busters, and we beat that game together. And then I was like, bro, like me and you were talking a lot and having a lot of fun while we're talking. We might as well, yep, yeah, we might as well go on ahead and start a try to start a channel or something like that, right? And I was like, where do you live so I can match this time up with you? And he is like, I live in Mozambique, Africa. And I was like, what the, right?
That's a place where I want to actually visit.
So he was like 7-8 hours in front of me, time wise. So I was like, man, this is impossible. I don't know how I'm gonna end up doing a podcast with you, but here it is, 6-7 months down the road, and we're still doing our thing, man. And we're getting more consistent with it each time. What's up, Gaming Forte? Thanks for stopping in, brother.
See you, player.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just kind of wild how things kind of happen, how things come together. I mean, it's nothing like you and your boy from Arizona, how you guys are in the military and stuff like that together, and y'all still game. But I just find it weird that me and this dude from Africa had the same, idea and the same, passion for something. We're so far away, so different from each other, live in totally different countries, but we're still on the same page when it comes to wanting to, get out there, get something for our community, and do better for ourselves each time that we pump out some content. And it's been a struggle for sure, because it's hard matching his time with my time.
Yeah.
But when you care about something, you just don't give a damn. You'll figure it out. And that's where we're at. We're just like, we don't know how today is gonna go. Like tomorrow, we're doing our stream at 2:00 p.m. and we never know exactly how it's gonna go. But each time we do our stream, we have more structure. We figure it out a little bit better. Talk a little bit better to those that are in the chat and whatnot, and and we mind our words a little bit better, which is something that you have to do when you're on YouTube. A lot of people think you can just come on here and just let anything fly. No, that's how you get canceled. That's how you lose your followers, yada yada. So we're really in the phase of tightening things up right now, to where we can reproduce more easily than what we're able to do right now, which is kind of tough. Trying to figure things out, kind of tough bringing people to the channel, but it all comes with time. And like I said, we're only 6 months into it, so if I just keep pushing, there's no telling where I'll land.
Good, keep it going, man. Keep it going. So I like I said, I thought about doing something that you were doing, and I just I didn't get around to doing it, but you're actually out here doing it, so you just getting the reps in. You're gonna figure it out, and then it's gonna grow beyond what you even imagine if you keep going.
Yeah, bro, I'm trying, man. Gaming Forte is a big help as well. King David was a really big help. I mean, you're a really generous guy as well, so I'll definitely be hollering at you if I have any questions, because you already went through the whole got a lot of followers, and then what the hell is going on with my followers? So I'm gonna have some questions for you later on, and how you transition in certain situations. So you might be hearing back from me later, and also
hit me up. Let me know what you need to know, man.
And also be sure to hit me up for whatever. If you just need somebody to chat and game with, or you want to do something fun or random, whatever, I'm open ears. I'm a fairly new creator, so I'm probably more willing to do things than I'll be willing to do later on in the future or something like that. Who knows, right? But anyways, last thing I'm going to ask you to do before we jump out of here is just describe gaming for me in just 3 words.
Only 3 words?
This gets everybody a little bit.
These 3 words. Gaming is creative, fun, it's creative, fun,
dangerous.
If you don't do it in moderation, yes, but no. I'm thinking about like, why do I game? I enjoy gaming because it's fun. Gaming is a creative, very creative space, and inclusive.
All right, cool. Well, that's our episode, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate everybody stopping out. I mostly appreciate my brother Danger right here for coming on in. Danger's voice. Excellent gentleman. Holla at him if you guys have any questions, concerns, or want to play a game with him or something like that. He might be able to make some time for you in between all that IT work and everything that he does. But as I said just a moment ago, thanks everybody for watching. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you enjoy this type of content. Next week's episodes are gonna be pretty fun. I got David on the Moon, and then I also got it's Tim. So definitely come hang out, check it out, see what it's all about. Throw some of them crazy words up in the comment. Let me know y'all are here. But other than that, y'all have a wonderful night. Do you have anything to say on the way out, Danger?
Nothing. They call me Danger's Voice of People's Choice, live and direct from New York City. Make sure you hit the subscribe button for Behind Them Sticks. And my information is down below. You can reach me. You can reach me on social media. Danger's Voice on everything.
That's what's up. All right, bro. Well, appreciate your time. I appreciate everybody that came out to watch. Thank you.